Hello everyone, it's been a while but I'm back and today we are going to use the bots to solve mazes. And as we don't want to make it too easy for them, we are going to add a few constraints. But let's talk a bit about the maze before checking the bots. So for this project I needed a way to generate many different mazes of various shapes. After doing a bit of research I found this video by d2tc describing an algorithm they designed specifically to be redstone friendly. The link is in the description if you want to get all the details, but here is the main idea of how it works. So you start with all the walls in the maze closed, and you draw a curve going through each and every cell exactly once. Then you follow this curve, and you link all the doors that have not already been linked to a previous cell to the current one. Once it's done, you're ready to generate as many mazes as you want. To do so, you simply need to randomly select for each cell one of the linked doors and open it. This will always generate a perfect maze with no isolated area. Every point of the maze is reachable from any other point. This is a redstone implementation of this algorithm shared by Discord user Wes. It's basically a very clever 3-way randomizer at the bottom for each cell, linked to small vertical flying machine with gravity blocks on top for each door. The design is quite compact, like each cell is only 3 by 3 wide. The only issue I had with this design is that they only shared an 8 by 8 version, and all the redstone below was manually done to link the randomizers to the correct doors. So if I wanted to rebuild the same design for a different size of a maze, I would have had to manually rewire everything, and I'm way too lazy to do that. So instead, I went for a modular approach. I took the previous design and I tried to create each possible configurations for a cell in the maze. Here we can see the 4 possible configurations of a cell with 3 doors linked. For each rotation there are 2 different variants, here in green and yellow, and it's basically just to differentiate between even and odd cells, because you need to have small differences. For example, the flying machines need to be mirrored to make sure that everything can be tiled together properly. Then we have all the possible configurations for a cell with 2 doors, and then for a cell with 1 door. I also have a few extra modules for the 4 corners and the edges of the maze, just to make sure everything below is wired properly and I don't have to manually add anything when I want to build a maze using these modules. Now that we have all the modules, we can have a creative bot just cloning them at the right position, following the algorithm we saw before, and voila! We now have a way to generate an almost infinite amount of mazes of any shape and size we want. If we don't like the current layout of the maze, we can simply right-click this node block here to reset the maze with a brand new configuration. Once we have a configuration we like, we can randomly select a cell that we will mark with redstone, and this will be our starting point, where all the bots will spawn. Then we can select randomly another cell and mark it with diamonds, and this will be our goal. The bots will have to find the best path to go from the redstone cell to the diamond cell and back. Of course, if you have a global view of the maze, it's quite easy to quickly figure out what the best path is. So to keep things interesting, we'll try to keep the bots very simple by adding a few constraints. First, our bots can't communicate with each other directly. For example, they can't decide to split up, you go left and I go right when reaching an intersection. Each bot needs to take its own decisions without any global supervision or coordination. And the second thing is that the bots are almost blind. They can't see far away in the maze, and when they stand in a cell, the only information they can see is which doors are open. They can't see if the next cell is diamond, or if it's a long corridor or a short dead end in a direction. And the last constraint is that the bots don't have any memory. They can't draw a mental map or remember layouts as they explore the maze. The only thing a bot remembers is the door it just went through when walking into the current cell. This is just to prevent the bot going back and forth between 2 adjacent cells when they have another choice available. Now you might wonder, how is it possible for the bots to solve the maze in these conditions? Well, the answer is they can't, but we'll give them one extra ability: pheromones. In nature, pheromones are chemicals used by some species to trigger social response in other individuals. For example, an ant can release some danger pheromones to indicate other ants that they should either avoid the area or prepare to fight. In our case, we'll have two different types of pheromone, redstone and diamond pheromones. Redstone pheromones will be released by the bots that are currently looking for the diamonds, and similarly, diamond pheromones will be released by the bots that have found the diamond cell and are currently looking to get back to the redstone cell. After crossing a door, the bot will always deposit a bit of pheromones inside the corresponding chest. Once they reached their destination, so either the diamonds or the redstone cell, they will swap the item in their hand and start to emit the other kind of pheromones. Now that we have the pheromones, we can define the very simple rules our bots will follow to select where to go. So first, if you enter a cell and it's a dead end, then go back the way you came. If the cell has only one other door, then take it. And if there are more doors, then check the pheromones level and randomly select a door based on how much pheromones each door has. For example, in this case, we would take this door 6 times out of 9 and this door the other 3 times. And that's it. That's the full code for our bots, the full bots. The full brain is these 3 very simple rules. Well, there is actually one extra thing, but it's not directly related to the bots. Pheromones, unlike real diamonds, are not forever. So periodically, we'll have an automatic decay of the level of pheromones for all the doors. This will mimic how real pheromones dissipate or evaporate in nature. And now we are done and we can finally take a look at the bots solving the maze. So at the beginning, all the bots are in the redstone cell, and as there is no diamond pheromones anywhere, they just select doors randomly to move around in the maze. Also, as you can see, I've removed the chest in the ground for the rest of this video and replaced them with some command blocks using a gradient of red and blue blocks based on the pheromone levels. It's not survival friendly anymore, but it works exactly as I showed before with the chest. Just it's way better for visualization and understanding what's going on. As I was saying, the bots are randomly exploring the maze until one of them reaches the diamond cell. At this point, it will start placing some diamond pheromones to help the other bots to reach the diamonds. And it will also try to follow the redstone pheromones to get back home. But as all the movements were previously random, there is a lot of redstone pheromones everywhere, so there is not a single clear path to go back to the redstone cell. It's less random than at the beginning. Overall, the bot is going in the right direction, but it's still quite chaotic. However, this new trail leading to the diamond cell will help the other bots to reach it more easily, and little by little, more and more bots will converge to the right direction, strengthening more and more the best path between the redstone and the diamond cells. If we speed up the footage a little bit, we can see that the main path is slowly appearing with more and more bots following it. But there are still a few issues. For example, here in the middle, we can see some of the bots are trapped into an infinite loop, with both types of bots leaving pheromones for the other type. Eventually, the trapped bots will run out of pheromones to place at each door, and the pheromones that have been placed will decay, reducing the levels for the doors in the loop, and the bots will be able to go back to the main path. Another issue we can see at multiple points is some extra detour some of the bots can sometimes take. As it results in a longer path on average, the amount of pheromones placed on this extra path will be, on average, lower than on the main path for the same amount of time spent. It means that the probability to continue on the main path will be slightly higher than taking the detour, for example 51% versus 49%. This creates a positive feedback loop for the main path. Bots will take the correct door slightly more often, placing slightly more pheromones, leading to more bots choosing this door, and so on and so on. After letting the algorithm run for long enough, it eventually converges to the shortest path between our two cells, effectively solving the maze. I find it really fascinating to see how a global behavior like that can appear from very simple individuals that are not even trying to consciously work together. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I will probably post a few more full runs of the algorithm on the channel as shorter videos in the coming days, so if you're interested, make sure you'll check them out, and otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!